Hey guys, Script Ripper here with another video. I want to mention, just before I get into this stuff with Peter Cushing here, that, kind of sad James Earl Jones passed away today. Was it today or yesterday? It might have been, I woke up and it was announced, so I'm not exactly sure, and I'm on the West Coast, so later time zone. I mentioned on Twitter, James Earl Jones, I know he was Mufasa and he was a lot of these characters. He was in Conan, which was cool. But one of the most impactful movies on my life as a kid would have been The Best of the Best, which is a karate movie. It's got Eric Roberts and a bunch of guys, and I just love that movie, how this huge rivalry, and then anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but if you guys ever want to watch it, I think some people sort of consider it like a B movie. It's not. It's really, really well done, and really will just destroy you emotionally at the end if you actually watch the whole thing. It's really good. Anyways, I love James Earl Jones on that. I just wanted to mention that before I get into this. Sad to see him go. He did live a really long and fruitful life, and so in a way it's not really sad. It's almost kind of like, it's sad that he died, but it's kind of cool, like in the sense that like the guy lived a long time. He did a lot of really cool things. He entertained us, all that stuff. So I just wanted to mention that. So moving on, the situation with Disney Star Wars is just getting more and more just crazy, right? Like, whether it's all these movies and shows that have been announced and then canceled and directors removed and this changed and reshoots and this done, and it just goes on and on and on. And now we've got the drama with the YouTubers and Star Wars Explained, and you got the shills versus the pills. That's what I call them, because we're dropping pills. We're giving you guys pills. No, it's pretty terrible the way that Disney has sort of has treated the IP, of course, treated John Boyega, projects the way that they behave onto everybody else and onto fans that don't like what they're doing, and then they use their shills, their internet shills. See, there's the connection, right? To also do that, right? They tried to get all these guys demonetized, Nerdrotics, Geeks and Gamers, blah, 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 blah. Ryan Kinnell. And then threw in Star Wars Theory, which was probably just to get clout, I said in my last video, but ended up backfiring major because he had receipts going back like 8 years with these people. And it's indicative of like, you're shilling for a company that's kind of crappy. Like, they treat people like crap, and they're not nice people. So you kind of, I don't want to give them excuses, because they are their own people and they can make their own decisions, but it's like they become kind of part of the collective, they're part of The Mist, if you've ever seen The Mist, or like The Blob, or whatever. They just kind of become it. So here we go now. Disney sued over use of dead actors' pictures in Star Wars spin-off. That's, it's funny because like Rogue One is the one thing that Disney made that most people really like. I have a couple issues with it. It's decent. I have a video called The Rogue One Problem, if you want to check that out, which gets into a couple of lore issues that they kind of overlooked, I think, or just didn't care when they made it. It's still a pretty cool movie. It's still by far the best Disney production with Star Wars they've ever done, without question, in my opinion. But it has a couple issues, but man, like, what are they doing? Disney's being sued over the use of an image of Peter Cushing in a Star Wars spinoff more than 20 years after his death. Yeah, Peter Cushing, he passed away in 94. Speaking of passing away, right? Like, he passed away in 94. And he was so good as Tarkin. I mean, you can't, like, if you were going to pick one guy to be sort of in between Vader and the Emperor, that was the perfect actor to pick. Like, he was perfect in the originals. Tinberg Film Productions, a London-based film company, is taking legal action over the use of the actor's image in the 2016 blockbuster Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Tinberg Film Productions. So they own his likeness? Okay. Is that what they're saying? Cushing's character in the original 1997 Star Wars film, Grand Moff Tarkin, the Imperial Commander, resurrected in the spin-off by altering the appearance of Guy Henry, the former Holby City actor, using special effects. Tinberg Film Productions alleges that Cushing's SFX image reproduction in Rogue One violated a contract made with the actor before his death in 1994. It claims its deal with Cushing gave the company a veto over the recreation of his image with special effects. Interesting. So that means the company, I guess, does control his image. How would Disney not know that? That's the thing that I don't understand. Like, with a lot of this stuff, you know, where they're just kind of making all these mistakes with all these shows and all this stuff, it's like, you guys are a huge company. Like, what do you, like, you got a writer's room of like 50 people for Star Wars. You got all this money, you're blowing all these things, and you don't have guys like looking into this stuff? Right? Because, like, Cushing died in 94, right? So wouldn't you naturally be like, okay, let's make sure we call the family, let's make sure we go through, cross the T's, dot the I's, we don't want to, do something we shouldn't do. And ultimately, I think if they had done their due diligence, they probably would have just had to cut a check to these guys. I know Mark Hamill sold his likeness to them. The rumor is it was like something stupid, like $50 million or something crazy. And they can just use it, whatever, in video games, whatever they want to do, it doesn't matter. But, in movies and stuff. But, yeah, like, do your due diligence, man. You guys are a huge company. I find this so weird. Like, Disney is such a weird, like, I don't get it. It's weird. Sorry, I keep saying weird, but it's like, what are you guys doing? Lawyers for the film company previously claimed that the agreement had been made for Cushing's intended appearance in a TV film that was never made. Oh, okay. Okay. Now in a ruling on Monday, Tom Mitchison, KC, the Deputy High Court judge, said that the case should go to trial. The judge said that the case was not unarguable. I think the correct word is inarguable. Anyways, doesn't matter. And a full factual inquiry was needed, despite being far from persuaded that Tin Burn Film Productions would succeed in its claim. Okay. So Rogue One was nominated for 2 Academy Awards, grossed over $1 billion. So this isn't like a cut and dry situation. It's just they're going to have to go to court over it. And they're going to court with Gina Carano as well. And she's backed by Musk, the richest man on the planet. And you know what's wild about that? I just want to mention this really quick. It's like Gina Carano's tweet was like, if you really think about it, it was just saying like, hey, don't harm your neighbor, and that's how it starts, and we harm each other instead of looking at, the people running everything, right? And like Mark Hamill has been like blasting off about politics for literally like how many years now? And I don't care, like, do what you want, dude, like, blast off. But it's just weird that Disney like made such a big deal out of that tweet and like her political stance, but like then Mark Hamill's like just like allowed to just say anything. It doesn't even matter. Like, he can say anything. It's just weird. It's weird. And again, it goes to this whole issue, and this is what I'm talking about today, is this whole thing with Disney is like, do your work. Stop being social justice warriors and just do your work. Like, do that stuff on the weekend, in your personal life. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's stupid. Like, just do your work, make good shows, make good movies. It feels like their number one concern is just stuff that they don't need to be concerned about. It's not their problem. It's weird, man. Tinberg Film Productions claims that Lunac Heavy Industries and I have no idea what that is, Lunac Heavy, and Lucasfilm, which produced the original Star Wars films, received, okay, so they were involved in the first films. They received unjust enrichment from using Cushing's image in Rogue One without its permission. Well, if they own his image and they used it, then they did. That's a fact. Because if he's not in Rogue One, it's not as good. And I mean, I'm not even saying I really was that big of a fan of the deepfake. It's kind of not that great. But having Tarkin in the film makes the film better, for sure. Lucasfilm and Lunac Heavy Industries have claimed that they do not believe permission was needed to recreate Cushing's image under the terms of his contract for the 1977 film. They've argued that they own the rights to use Cushing's image from the original movie. Now, whether or not they have the right to do that, I just want to say, like, the idea that you can just use this dude's face in perpetuity because he was in one movie in 1977, I think is kind of gross. I think it's gross. Imagine being like his kid or his grandkid and they're just using his face. I don't know. I don't like that. I think it's weird. I'm not saying they don't have the right to do it. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't personally really like that. I think it's kind of gross. Their bid to have Tin Berm Film Productions claim thrown out was rejected by a judge last December. They launched a challenge at a hearing in London earlier this year. That appeal has now been rejected by the High Court. The trial will now take place at a later date. Okay, so that's what's happening. I don't like this idea, especially now that we're moving into this era of AI and everything else. This idea that you can just use people's images forever, to me, is weird and disgusting. I mean, I know some of these contracts, especially back in the day, these guys were like so happy to just be in a movie. I don't know. Mark Hamill selling his image, I think he must have had his people look at it and he made the agreement and he got a whole pile of money. But I mean, what did Cushing get paid? You know what I mean? Like, what did he get paid to be in Star Wars? It's like you're going to use his image and, you know what I mean? Okay, so in 2016, Disney did not believe... Okay. So Cushing's estate was paid £33,000 in 1977, which was like what? What's that in dollars? What's that in dollars? What's the conversion rate? Okay, so that's 75 cents basically, right? So 75 cents. So in American dollars, he was paid something like... So he was paid like $40,000, $45,000 in 1977. Which would be what, like $100,000 now, $150,000, and then they're just going to use his face forever and make tons of money off. I don't know. Again, Disney, man, like everything they're doing right now, I think they're imploding. I do. I think they're imploding. And I know this isn't a huge deal, but it's just another thing to point to where you're like, what are these guys doing? Like, who the people running this company are they dumb? Are they just inept? Are they like, what are they doing? It's sad. It's sad what's happened to Star Wars. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. I don't know. This is just, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. It always helps the channel. Feel free to check out anything else on my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.